serve cold, but the Wolves and the Hawks never shiver in the snow. The Bulls keep it running, the Sox run the South, the Cubs run the North, but the Bears run the house. True Chicago sports fans got their ears to the street. Any team make a move and they never skip a beat. And in this house, this is where we be. Welcome to the show with E-Rock and Big Z.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to Chicago. Coming from the True Chicago Sports Fan Cave, the home of the AL Central Division Chicago White Sox, this is the TCSF Podcast with E-Rock and Big Z.
Oh, yeah.
Kool-Aid Man's in the house. Episode 65 is brought to you by 606 Media, True Chicago Sports Fans, ACSI, and Grit Clothing Company. Don't forget to go to gritclothingco.com and get your official TCSF Podcast t-shirts. Search for keyword True Chicago and use our promo code TrueFan15 for 15% off your entire order. That's TrueFan15. Go get your official TCSF shirts now.
Go get them.
As always, I am Big Z and I'm here with my boy, the man, the myth, the legend, E-Rock. What up, E?
What's up, Z? What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome in. If you're a first-timer or a long-timer, please remember to hit that subscribe button, that notify button, and go ahead and give us a review on your listening app of choice. And don't forget, you can support the show with a monthly subscription at anchor.fm/True Chicago Sports Fans. Go on over there and click on support, and you can be a subscriber for as low as 99 cents a month. Z, what's up, man? How are you doing? How was your week?
Man, action-packed. I know now. I know what you feel like with the all the softball you do, and all the dad duties you do, and all the husband duties you do. Yeah, I kind of feel like that. Teaching's been a breeze this week because the kids had testing, so I just had to give my other teachers breaks and stuff like that. So that was cool. Is that whatever? But this week, bowling. I held it down for my teams on both days. I'm bowling a lot better. I changed my technique, and it's paying off. I went to a White Sox game.
Your technique now knock down the pills? Or knock down the pins?
No, you knock down pills. I knock down pills, the pins. Yeah, so I'm bowling above 140 now. So we're doing okay here, man. All right, I also went to a White Sox game on Friday and got a W on that day. It was awesome. I did miss out on the beer stein because I got there a little later, but that's neither here or there. We'll probably find that at the thrift store in a couple of years. Not really worried about it. Caught up on some shows. I didn't finish Clickbait. I think I'm on the second to last episode, so I am caught up. So we'll talk about that. I played some softball, so I actually played an actual full game 2 years after my surgery. Went 4 for 4 and played right field very well. So yeah, I'm a little proud of myself. A little pop on my collar if I had one. Let's see.
Humble brag.
Yeah, a little humble brag. Also this morning, or we're recording on Sunday, sorry guys, but on Sunday morning, I ran my first 5K. I mean, I ran half of it. But it's my first 5K also in 2 years. I'm trying to get back into smoother things just because, if you don't use it, you lose it.
That's a 2.5K in my book.
Whatever. I mean, I wish it was a bar crawl because it was like 7 bars around there, but it was too early. It was 8 in the morning. Also, want to give a quick shout out to Maritza, who's a listener and a supporter of the podcast. Thanks for supporting the podcast and also hooking me up with the MVPito bobblehead. The MVP bobblehead for Jose Abreu that they gave out last week. I wasn't able to attend because I was bowling, and she picked one up for me, and she said, "I got you, bro. I got you." So
guess what?
What's up?
I have my own MVP bobblehead because I went to my very first White Sox game last Tuesday, and the funny thing is that you did say something to me as soon as I told you I was going to the White Sox game.
What? Did we just become best friends?
Yes.
Because it was fun. It was great. It was a fun time. Look, I took a picture in front of the Chicago sign all the way up on the top because that's where we were.
Yep.
Shout out to my boy Chris, aka Jubs, for the ticket. Hit me up 15th on his list to go to the White Sox game because we're not
chipping a chance, like you say, chipping a chance.
Each other for a long. Yeah, well, that's what it is. I mean, we're not super close, but we've known each other for a long time. And he'll hit me up randomly for like Bulls games and stuff like that because he has a ticket. So shout out to him for hitting me up. I think he was surprised that I was so eager to go because I was like, oh, hell yeah, I'll go, because we were supposed to go to that 9/11 game and I was sick.
Right.
So I was excited to be able to go. It was a good experience because we were actually there early enough to see everything that they do with the lights and the hype music and all that stuff.
Yeah.
It reminded me very much of going to a Chicago Bulls game, surprisingly enough.
Yeah.
He asked me later on what I thought about the experience, and to me, I was like, look, I think it's cool. I thought it's a cool stadium. The food was good. I mean, I didn't have anything crazy. I just had like a hot dog and I think
grilled onions.
Popcorn. I didn't have nothing else.
You had grilled onions on it?
Honestly, I don't remember. There was a few.
Popping pills again, aren't you?
But you know what though? Like, to be honest, it was kind of weird because when they dimmed the lights in the beginning, when like I said, they did like the Bulls type of intro.
Yeah.
It felt very intimate in an intimate setting because you're even in the high levels, you're looking directly across and you see just more or the other side of the stadium. With Wrigley, it's so open that you have so much more open. It was a whole different experience for me because I'd been to like Miller Park. I haven't done a ton of MLB stadiums, but I mean, after all is said and done, it was cool to get the bobblehead. I appreciated going to the game. They won. There was a bunch of home runs. I like Wrigley better for going to a game.
Well, I mean, that's going to be the thing. That's your baby. That's all good. But you can't dog the ballpark now because you've been to it. But you still, next year when we're new season, we're going to go downstairs. You're going to get the different experience downstairs than it is upstairs. Completely different experience.
But I'm talking about watching a game there. You know what I mean? Like I've seen a game in different parts of Wrigley, and it just feels special every time I go to Wrigley. You know what I mean? Like I felt like maybe it's just the history, knowing that you got 100 history there and all that shit. And maybe it was just a different field, but even in Miller Park, like, oh, this is cool. I'm in a park. It does not have that same like, oh my god, this is Wrigley, where like you've seen like I don't know. It's just a different emotion, I guess. But yeah, I mean, White Sox game, you know what I mean? Like, I finally got to go check out that stadium, and I got a little bit of shit from posting me standing behind the Chicago sign, and I'm like, look, it says Chicago.
It says Chicago. It doesn't say White Sox.
It says Chicago. It says Chicago. I had Chicago in the background. I thought it was dope. But yeah, that and just back to softball a little bit, playing the playoffs and all that good stuff. So I think you and I both had a good week. But check it out, ladies and gentlemen. It is football season. That's right. Fall is here, and I know there's some of you out there looking for a new gig. So let me tell you about a great opportunity with our friends over at ACSI. With over 50 expert technicians in the Chicagoland area, ACSI offers a one-stop shop for telecom wiring, whether residential cable installation, fiber to the home, or commercial structured cable wiring. ACSI is a proud partner of both Comcast and RCN. Let me tell you guys the most impressive thing about ACSI. During these hard times with the ACSI crew did their thing during the COVID-19 pandemic, and ACSI was awarded Hacia's 2020 Contractor of the Year award. The best part is that ACSI is growing bigger and better than ever. ACSI is now hiring for field sales technicians and project managers. Check out acsi.tech. That's acsi.tech and click on careers to apply today.
Go get you a job.
You better go get a job. This week, the White Sox finish off the season on a high note. Notre Dame gets knocked off. The Bears feast on the Motor City Kitties. And we talk to a three-time All-Star, a three-time Silver Slugger. He is the real Big Z. Former Cubs pitcher Carlos Zambrano joins us today.
Yeah, great. You're gonna want to. That's not something you want to miss. This Zambrano interview is amazing.
It is phenomenal, ladies and gentlemen. It's so much fun. But first, this is the Big Three with Big Z.
Thanks, E-Rock. I'm Big Z, and you're not. That's right. Even though you like to stand behind the Chicago thing, it's all good, bro. You can't beat me.
You're barely Big Z.
All right.
Hey, now you're more like medium Z now.
Man, he's what, 6'5"? Jesus. 6'5". No, man, that's insane. All right, man, I got some great stories for you, and all of them, I try to get stories that try to make you laugh. Here's one that you're going to really like. A herd of goats runs amok in Buckhead, Georgia. I've actually been to Buckhead, Georgia. It's wild out there. All right, Buckhead, Georgia. Yeah, it's wild. Your eyes are not fooling you. There was indeed a herd of goats on the loose in Buckhead. Multiple social media users posted photos and videos of the goats strolling down Piedmont Road near Rooms to Go furniture store in Buckhead late Monday morning. That was last Monday. 11 Alive Skytracker even got in on the action and found nearly 2,000 goats roaming in the area. A small fence was set up around the goats to keep them in one area. The goats' mini vacation came to an end around 1 p.m. when an animal transportation trailer pulled up in the area and began loading the livestock into the video. Atlanta Police Department said in a statement, the officer responded after a passing driver called about goats on the roadway. Officials say the goats were brought to Kroger to eat weeds behind the store.
Kroger, hold up. If I'm going to Kroger for goat, it's for some birria or for some curry goat, man. That's
hey, you could have got a free goat for some birria. That's what I'm saying.
I'm saying, bro. You know what's funny is that I remember being a kid and my pops going to the butcher shop over there on Western Division. Remember, I don't know if you remember that joint, but it was
Western
like the
Division.
Little Western Division. It was like Western Meat Market. It was it almost looked like an old school hardware store with like.
They used to be, it's across the street from my barber shop where it used to be. Yes, I know where it's at.
I don't know if
by Claremont.
it's still there, but
No,
yeah,
and
I remember going in there because we were picking up some goat for my dad's cousins, and we go in there and the sucker's just hanging there. So as a joke, my dad says, "Hey, cut up the meat and do me a favor. Take the eyeballs and put them on top of the package so when they open up the damn thing staring at them."
Oh, your dad is gold. Your dad is gold.
Oh man, he's awesome.
All right, so that's our animal story for the week. And for some reason, they keep popping up. All right, story number 2. A former Olympic swimming star, Cleet Keller, pleaded guilty Wednesday to a charge of stemming from the deadly January 6th riot on the U.S. Capitol. During a brief appearance in federal court in Washington, he pled guilty to a single charge of obstructing an official proceeding, a felony with an estimated sentencing range under the federal guidelines of 21 to 27 months. In return, the government dropped one other felony charge and 5 misdemeanor counts. His attorney, Edward McMahon, told the judge that Keller is trying to make amends for his terrible mistake, end quote, and is embarrassed and wants to start a life over. What do you think about that, bro?
Let me say something about this. This dumb bastard
Thank you.
rushed the Capitol. And first of all, all these idiots thought that Trump was going to save him. So they go up there. You got the one dude dressed as like, I don't know, like the like a medicine man and like, you know what I mean, like some
mantar.
Like what the hell? But here's the thing. This guy is a former Olympic swimmer. He's like 6'7". So it's not like they weren't going to find his big goofy ass standing out there. Like you stick out like a sore thumb.
Right, it's like Big Bird, like Big Bird in fucking his yellow coat walking around the Capitol like, hey, no one's going to notice me.
Let me tell you something. I hope this is always the highlight of my week when we get the news. So-and-so has been, arrested, or they found out who this person was and they're getting sentenced and blah, blah. It's like, you dumb bastards. What are you doing crashing the Capitol in the first place?
Yeah, throw the book at him.
I mean, seriously, like, we have never... I don't know, man. It's so frustrating to talk about, but I'm glad this dumb bastard got what's coming to him because he deserves it.
Yeah, that's right. All right, story number 3, and this is something I'm pretty sure my co-host E-Rock would do. A drunk man who was reported missing participated in a search for himself.
Oh my god!
Yeah, a missing drunk Turkish man spent hours helping a search party to look for himself, according to the independent Beyhan Mitulu. Who is living in Egol in the northwestern province of Bursa. Wow, look at that. I knocked that all out in one try. Was reported missing on Tuesday. His family alerted authorities after he failed to return home from a drinking session with friends and didn't return phone calls. Officials said that Mutulu wandered into a forest and could not be found by his friends. A search party was dispatched to the area and Mr. Mutulu ended up meeting them in the woods. Officials reportedly had no idea that Mr. Matula was the man they had been looking for for several hours.
So let me tell you something. This is a fantastic story. This is not something that I would do, but I do have a friend, and he was actually on our show in the beginning of when we did our White Sox preview of the season.
Yeah.
Kurt Kubica is notorious for getting lost on drunken trips. This is a man who, on a trip to St. Louis, somehow got lost during. We went to like Mardi Gras a few years ago in St. Louis, and next thing you know, he's gone. We can't find him. He just walks off, and then we get a message from either his wife or his brother. Kurt is in the arch. He is stuck in the arch because somehow he either called somebody or whatever. He was like, I think I'm stuck inside the arch. So
wow, not the golden arches. Yeah,
not McDonald's. No, he was. I don't know where he was, but I don't remember at this point where he was because I was drinking too many terrible hurricane drinks. But
oh boy,
yeah, I definitely shout out to Kurt because I know you listen.
Jesus, yeah, man, this man was lost, drunk in the woods. He joins the search party for several hours before quote unquote finding himself because they were like, yeah, we're looking for this dude. And they kept shouting his name. He's like, oh, that's me. After several hours.
Than when you take a year off after high school before college to find yourself. That's a whole different story.
That's a whole different podcast, ladies and gentlemen. That's a whole different podcast.
That's amazing. All right, y'all. Let's take a quick break, and we'll be right back after a word from our sponsors.
Hey, true Chicago sports fans, show off your Chicago pride with some fresh clothes from Grit Clothing Company. At Grit Clothing, they create that simple yet classic style that represents that Chicago Southside lifestyle. From t-shirts to hoodies, hats to glassware, they've got you covered. Grit has everything you need to represent your Chicago pride, so do it right now. Check out gritclothingco.com and use the promo code TrueFan15.
TrueFan15.
For 15% off your entire order. Let me say it again. That's gritclothingco.com and use the promo code TrueFan15 for 15% off of your entire order.
Welcome back to the TCSF Podcast with E-Rock and Big Z.
Oh, yeah.
Kool-Aid. This is The Loop. Our Chicago sports roundup where we keep you in the loop.
This is Chicago. Doors open on the left at Chicago.
Welcome to Chicago. Welcome to Chicago. Welcome to Chicago.
This is Chicago. Doors open on the left at Chicago.
Welcome to Chicago.
Yo, E, what's going on with our beloved Bears?
Boom, indeed. After a long week of speculation on who was going to start for the Bears, they came out and put a thumping on the Detroit Lions this week because your boy Justin Fields got the start. They knocked off the Lions 24-14. They were able to move the ball pretty efficiently with 188 rushing yards and solid O-line play, along with another week of solid defense. And they helped Justin Fields out a ton in his second career start. There was an unfortunate injury we saw towards the end of the game. David Montgomery went down. It looked like he had a knee injury, and it was gross enough that they did not show it on the replay. But he had a great game, 23 carries for 106 yards and 2 touchdowns. Damian Williams also came in with 8 carries for 55 yards and a touchdown. Justin Fields' final stats were 11 for 17 with 209 yards. No touchdowns, but he did have 1 interception on a tip pass. Look, we saw just such a terrible debacle last week of everything that was going on. I mean, it was just disgusting, but they seemed to bounce back. It seemed like, the laser show was in full effect this week, and, I think Berto kind of sniffed that out a little bit early, that Nagy didn't have the same look on his face. And Nagy did come out a little bit and talk about Justin Fields' bounce back.
But again, I can't state enough with Justin bouncing back from last week. What a great job for him to be able to respond to what happened, to learn, to get better. That's what this game's all about, right? You're a rookie quarterback in a tough environment. Your first start, you come back at home and you bounce back, and he did that. He made great plays. He made great throws, great decision making. His teammates stepped up for him. The defense did. The special teams, his coaches did. And for that, I'm proud of all those guys.
You know, he's not wrong. Justin did bounce back. The offense looked way better. We had a much more balanced attack. And we did see Darnell Mooney, who was questionable in the game. We didn't know if he was going to play. Only 5 receptions for 125 yards. I mean, Fields was chucking it down the field, and he knew exactly who he wanted to throw it to.
So this is what I got to say about Nagy. Thank you, Captain Obvious.
I mean, look, he's still the coach. You can hate on him all he wants, but he's just telling you, hey, you know, I'm proud of him. Because here's the thing, you've coached, and I'm a coach right now for the girls. Yeah. And you know, the whole point is, at least in my level, you know, it's not to win every single game, but it's to make sure they want to keep playing. And in the NFL and professional sports, yes, of course, it's important to win, but you also have to keep your players encouraged and make sure that they want to keep playing. You know what I mean? Like, that's the thing, is that once you break your spirit, it's done. You how many times? I mean, we were just a little while ago talking about that one player from the Browns who, like, you know, who only had a couple of career starts, and he came out and played, like, you know, 8 snaps and then says, you know what, I'm done, and he retired at halftime. You know, so you want to make sure that your players don't have a broken spirit. But one thing that you did mention was Allen Robinson not being the star.
Yeah, and this is something that I alluded to you on the Facebook post game, is that A-Rob had 2 catches. I'm pretty sure that
he had 3 for 65.
3 for 65. Right, and then we were watching the game, and it was in the Facebook Messenger. You're like, is A-Rob playing? And I'm like, and he got a pass, and I was like, okay, question and answered. Your question was answered, but let's put it this way: Justin Fields likes throwing to Darnell Mooney up and down the field. He does. That's his guy, because you know, he was throwing on the second team, so. Yeah, that's his guy. So A-Rob is first team, and you know, A-Rob's contract is up at the end of the year, and if Darnell Mooney shows out and becomes a Pro Bowler because of Justin Fields, there's no need to have A-Rob in maybe a lot of people's eyes, because you don't have to pay for that wide receiver.
You always want a Pro Bowl wide receiver on your team. If you can bring back A-Rob, you definitely need to do that, because you don't just want what you want is that the defense doesn't know which one of these guys is going to go off on a certain week.
Right, and I agree with you, but here's the thing: is that there's not enough money. They're in cap hell. They don't have any cap money next year, so they're not going to be able. I mean, they can franchise him again, but then he's going to be one of those, you know, disgruntled employees again. So I mean, it's a catch-22.
Well, you have to figure out. Here's the thing: is that you got Eddie Goldman that came back this week. Right, finally, he did have like a false start penalty or offsides penalty or whatever it was.
Yeah, he's not in football shape yet.
And what's that?
I don't think he's in football shape.
Well, I mean, that's neither here or there. But what I'm getting at is the fact that he was a very important part of the team before he took off last year for COVID. Right, and you got Hicks, who wants new money. Right, Hicks is getting up there. Yep. You still got Mack. And you got Roquan Smith here. So, I mean, Roquan, you know what I mean? Like, I think they've done a good job of filling in the gaps when you look at the defense. Because look at Alec Ogletree, who they picked up off the street, 10 tackles and 2 assist tackles. Roquan Smith, 8 tackles and 2 assists and a sack. Robert Quinn, 5 tackles and a sack. Gibson got his first career sack, and Mack had a sack too, a tackle and a sack. So, I mean, you know, you look at what you're going down the line on defense, that's the most important thing, because like I said, they're going to start aging out. But one thing I did want to point out was that Fields actually came out and he said that he had a different mindset going into this game.
My mindset, like, coming in today was just different, and I think it was because of last week. You know how we played. We didn't play like we wanted to. So, you know, my goal was out there to just play better than last weekend. I thought we did that. The O-line did a great job today. They only let up 1 sack, and that sack was on me. I should have checked the ball down the flat faster than that. But you know, the O-line played great. I'm proud of those guys.
So, he's recognizing the fact that the O-line did play a lot better this game.
They did.
And that's going to have to be their main focus as far as the draft is concerned, because like I said before, you can find free agent linebackers and running backs and defensive linemen. You don't find free agent offensive linemen because they get locked up. Really good offensive linemen get locked up on their team.
Yep, they do.
And when you look at what they had on the field towards the end of the season last year, Bars and Mustafa stepping in, James Daniels coming back, you got Whitehair. So I mean, and I think once they kind of really solidify, the problem is that you're looking at your left tackle who got injured, that they drafted. He couldn't even play, so they had to go out and get the oldest man in the universe to come out there and play, and he's still trying to get back into football shape because he was on a fishing boat.
Yep.
So they are starting to kind of put it together, hopefully, but like we said in the post-game show, the really important thing is to see what happens going forward, because they're going to go travel to Vegas and play the Raiders next week.
So here's the thing with the offensive line. The offensive line is very much like the running back, where it needs a rhythm to work. And you can't have rhythm if you're changing quarterback week after week. That's just facts. If you're changing,
I don't think they've intended to change quarterback week after week.
But it affects the offensive line completely. Because you don't. Yes,
but there was a report that they were trying out some wide receivers and some quarterbacks during the week, and it was just four stringers. It was going to be guys that were going to be practice squad players, and people are losing their mind. But I'm like, okay, Andy Dalton is injured with a knee injury, and Justin Fields had a brace on his hand because he hit a helmet.
His thumb, yeah. So sprained thumb.
So. Ladies and gentlemen, for the rest of our Bears post-game show and preview of next week's game against the Vegas Raiders, check out our Bears post-game show live on Facebook after every Bears Sunday game, and also on our podcast page every Monday morning. But in other Bears news, the Bears have signed a purchase agreement for the Arlington International Racecourse property in suburban Arlington Heights, Illinois. The Athletic reported that last week. The Bears made the news official on Wednesday morning, and they are buying the 326-acre property for $197.2 million. What do you think about that, bro?
That's what I think about that. That is exactly what I think about. It is about time that the Bears get a facility of their own that they can monetize on a yearly basis, which means using the whole complex to generate money on a 365 basis, just like Wrigley does. Wrigley owns all those buildings and the hotels and the bars. Guess what? That's income that comes in on a yearly basis. You have concerts that come in when the Cubs are out of on a road trip or when they're not in season, whatever. That's money coming in. Now you also have hotels that you can put there. You can put you can sell some of the housing that's around there. It's going to create a lot of jobs as far as like building stuff, and it's also going to create revenue for the state with all the travel. So all the gas station, that's more taxes for the state and the city or the township, but that is Arlington Heights. The iPass, all that stuff. All that's going to generate money, man. Guess what? You get a building that big, state of the art, you get one thing right away. You get a Super Bowl. You get that booked right away. As soon as they open the doors, your Super Bowl is booked for the next 2 or 3 years from then. You get a WrestleMania. WrestleMania is one of the biggest draws in the world. You get that. You're going to get a Final Four. For sure, you'll get a Final Four. Let's see, what's another big event? You can probably... Go ahead.
Here's the thing. And I've always been in the corner where I believe that the Bears should buy that property and they should make a state-of-the-art stadium there. And for the charter branches of the NFL, it's embarrassing to be where they play now. But here's the one problem. Any football field, any football stadium is just a cash pit. Even with the games that you'll play there as a home team and your college football games that'll come play there, like Notre Dame and Wisconsin played at Soldier Field,
right?
And your Final Four and your concerts and all that stuff, you're gonna have less than 100 dates a year where that stadium is going to be used. So there's going to be a lot more time where that's just unused real estate in the stadium. That's going to take up a lot. Number two,
I mean, they can take away. They can take stuff away from the United Center.
Well, the United Center has an agreement where you can only have a certain amount of, like, if they do WrestleMania, let's say, for example, in the United Center, you can only in the lifetime of your contract agreement, you can only have like 3 WrestleManias ever in there. That's how they're set up in the United Center. That's just how that is. But what weird. I'm saying is that you're still gonna have a very small amount of dates in a new stadium. You're going to have your sports book there because they do have a partnership with Rivers Casino to have a sports book already.
And they might give you money for the naming rights.
Hotels. Your naming right, the River. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you got to figure out who's going to get the naming rights. You're going to have your hotels that you're going to be able to put around that stadium. It's going to be a valuable property.
Right.
But there's a couple problems. If the Bears move out of the city of Chicago, technically, I believe that any team that would, let's say, Joe Blow from New Zealand says, okay, I have $1 billion. I want to start an NFL franchise.
Okay.
He can move to Soldier Field, and that team will be called the Chicago Bears.
I mean, they can't use the word Chicago Bears.
They will be named the Chicago Bears because of whatever NFL contract that there is something in the books that you can move in. I'm telling you right now.
They can move into Soldier Field. That is going to be a vacant place.
But you can't call the Chicago Bears.
Why would they be called the Chicago Bears? That's a trademark.
I'm telling you, I will do a little bit more research and give you like the full details. But I've been looking to it, and there's a lot of sources out there telling you that if you leave that stadium, if you leave the city of Chicago, you can because if you're not in the city of Chicago, you can call yourself Arlington Heights Bears, but the name Chicago Bears, it has to do with being in the city. So there has to be an agreement between the city and the.
That's kind of asinine.
I know
because the New York Jets and the New York Giants don't play in New York.
And that's fine.
The Dallas Cowboys don't play in Dallas.
There's nowhere within city limits for the Jets and the Giants to play. You understand what I'm saying? There's an agreement between the Jets, the Giants, and the city of New York. The Chicago Bears currently play in a landmark status building.
Correct.
So there is. I'll bring you some more research next week and tell you exactly why. But I'm telling you that this is a true thing. So that is part of it.
Is that part of the lease? Is that part of the lease?
There's some part of the agreement with the city and the team itself to why. Are you allowed to call it Chicago Bears, Chicago, whatever it is? There is an agreement there. So I'm going to bring you some more research. Because, like I said, you can.
Because I have a rebuttal for that. Go ahead.
But there is. It has something to do with. You can rebut it all you want. This is a fact. This is a legal thing.
No, I know it's a legal thing. But guess who's more powerful than the mayor of Chicago? The NFL.
It ain't.
No, it's the NFL.
That's all well and good.
Because the NFL has the most power out of a lot of people.
And that's all well and good, but the NFL will say, "Thank you, Chicago Bears. Thank you, Chicago Bears. This is your stadium." The other team that left this stadium, that left the city of Chicago, has called themselves something else. I'm just telling you.
Okay, all right. So
I'll bring you the legally.
All right, we'll look it up and we'll discuss it. We'll bring that back next week, and that's a great point because we can go back and forth on that. But here's my question to you: let's say they do build this stadium, and there's an AFC team that's willing to move to Chicago or Arlington Heights in this aspect. Are you opposed to another team coming to the Chicagoland area and or sharing the stadium?
Am I opposed to it?
Yes.
No, but I mean, I won't. I mean, like it'll be the same way that I kind of pay attention to the White Sox versus I'm a fan, because the problem with the Bears is that because you have such a historical franchise, you also have a lot of people who are opposed to the Bears as a team. They're like, I'm not being Bears fans because they did this and they did that and blah blah blah. So the longer you exist, the more fans you have, the more haters you have. So there's going to be plenty of people that would jump on a bandwagon of having another Chicago team that they can root for 100%. I won't be one of them. I'll always be a Bears fan, but I'm not opposed to it because I mean it brings more money to the area. I'm just saying, some team could jump at Soldier Field right now.
So would you rather they share the stadium or they go to Soldier Field and AFC over here and NFC over here?
Well, here's the thing: is that if the Bears own that stadium, then they can tell them to go kick rocks. Go, hey, fuck off! You ain't playing where I play. And but
it's revenue. It's revenue.
What?
It's more revenue.
And the Chicago, do you think the Chicago Bears want to share the stadium with another NFL team with Chicago name? Absolutely not. They're not going to want to do that.
The New York Jets and New York Giants.
Who gives a fuck about them? I don't give a fuck about New York.
It's not about giving a fuck. It's just fucking more revenue.
I'm talking about the charter franchise of the NFL is not going to give up their stadium to allow another team to call that their home field. I'm sorry. Now makes no sense. You got the Lakers. You got the Lakers and Clippers. Who gives a fuck? Why are you bringing up? I'm telling you the reason. I don't care about what the Lakers do. The Lakers are not the charter franchise of the NFL. Yeah, but you're doing it on an emotional basis. I'm talking about financially. That's a fucking smart thing to do. It's not. It could be emotional. It could be smart. It doesn't matter. I'm telling you for a fact, the Chicago Bears franchise that finally, after all this time, purchased a land to build a stadium are never going to allow another NFL franchise to call that their home. It is never going to happen. They have never had their own stadium. They used to play at Wrigley. You finally get your own stadium. He's like, hey, by the way, Chicago, so-and-so's come and play with. Fuck off. That's never going to happen. But here's the problem. You want to talk about revenue. Let's talk about the fact that the Bears as a family, the Bears family, the McCaskies, the Hallises, all that stuff. You look at other NFL franchises, you look at the Rams, you look at the Jaguars, for example. All of these teams have owners that made money somewhere else and use that money that they made to purchase their team. The problem with the Bears is that the owners of the Bears, their wealth is the Bears. Yes. They're not cash. They don't have that liquid cash. Their cash is the Bears. You understand what I'm saying? So the value that they have is the Bears. They'd have to sell off part of the Bears to get that. You know what I mean? So you just proved my point. You just proved my point. You need income. No. Why would you do that? Absolutely not. Your stadium, you just said your stadium's not going to be used for 100 days, right? There you go. Instead of having 8 home games, that building's having 16 home games. You shouldn't do it. I'm not saying that it's not a smart revenue play. I'm telling you that the charter franchise who has never had their own fucking stadium is never going to allow another team in there to say that that's their home. It's never going to happen. You could like it or dislike it all you want. It is never, ever going to happen. I'm sorry. They finally get their own stadium and they're going to share that shit? Never, ever, ever. It's not going to happen. Never. Oh, man, I love giving hypotheticals to get your fucking panties in a bunch. I'm going to wear panties. Oh, commando. All right, let's move on to the collegiate slate. What about the Golden Domers and the Notre Dame Fighting Irish? The Fighting Irish have their own stadium. Good for them. Too bad they sucked last week. Notre Dame lost their first game at home since 2017, falling to the Cincinnati Bearcats 24-14. Go Cats. They dropped down in the rankings and currently sit at number 14. The Irish could not overcome three first half turnovers, and despite a late push, it really just wasn't enough. Brian Kelly talks a little bit about what went wrong.
The mundane things. We didn't take care of the basics today. And all we needed to do is be efficient at the basics today, and we weren't efficient at the basics. We turned the football over on offense, special teams, didn't cover very well, and so we didn't coach very well today, and we didn't play very well, and that's the long and that's the short of it. Right. So, I mean, Jack Cohn had to go out of the game with the injury. He wasn't really playing that well. And they brought in Drew Pine. So this is a young kid. He came up there. He actually had a pretty decent day. He went 9 for 22, 143 yards, and he did have a touchdown compared to Jack Cohn's 14 for 22, 114 yards and an interception. And Tyler Buckner did have a couple of attempts with one interception. Look, they're going to have to bounce back. The good thing, we know it was a tough loss. The good thing is that their loss came early in the season. And since he was ranked, so realistically, the Irish still have a chance to make that playoff. I mean, this could be a case where Cincy goes on really far as well, just like when the Irish lost to Clemson early in the season a few years ago, and they still were able to bounce back because, well, that team actually did really well. So the strength of schedule looks good. It's really good for the Irish if they're the team they lost to does well, because it boosts them up in the strength of schedule. You're talking about the strength of schedule for Notre Dame. Who else is ranked that they play? Who else is ranked? I don't know. That changes throughout the season. I know that changes throughout the season, but that's the only team that they play that's ranked.
Cincinnati is ranked right now, and they are ranked. So if
they were ranked going in, right?
Right, and so that's the thing is that we got to see as the season goes. I mean, you get people that jump up in the rankings and all that stuff. So I mean, it just depends, and it also depends on who those other teams play and so on and so forth. So, I mean, look, they, like I said, they made a late push. They were down 17-0 going into the second half of the game, and they were able to shut out the Bearcats and score a touchdown of their own in the third. But they gave up a touchdown late in the fourth, and that was kind of game over right there. So, I mean, I didn't get to see most of the game, but I did catch them, sucking it up. So, it's going to be another big test next week. They're going to go down and play in Virginia against Virginia Tech, a team that they've struggled with before. Last year when the ACC, they played a lot of these teams. So, Notre Dame is a team that other schools always get up to play for. And Cincy is not a bad team. I mean, they're ranked. I think they were 10th or whatever it was.
Yeah, they're not. They're not a bad team. But my question, I mean, and again, I don't follow college football or especially Notre Dame as much as you do. But why isn't Notre Dame in a conference?
Oh, because they don't want to be. They don't want to be because they have their own schedule rights. They have all that stuff. If you're in a conference, you don't get to pick your opponents and things like that. So they can't play a lot. You don't
get to pick your. So it's just like
So like you won't be able to play against Navy and USC and UCLA sometimes and pick a couple of teams locally against Big Ten. So they wouldn't have played Purdue this year and stuff like that. So they have their long-standing rivalries. Like I said, Navy, USC is a team they always play. Michigan State they play quite a bit. They played Northwestern a couple times. They'll play against Illinois sometimes. But if you're in the ACC, you really only play those schools. You don't play that much of an out-of-conference schedule unless it's like the first couple games of the season where it's a cake game. So I mean, this is the way they have it set up.
That's why I hate college sports, because it's just full of shit and full of money. That's what it is.
I mean, I like college sports because I like college football because
I meant the NCAA. I don't mean the kids playing the sports. I mean the NCAA.
That's the Irish. That's the Irish who decided because they have an exclusive contract with NBC.
And who gave them that? The NCAA.
And
they allowed it.
They're independent. That's what I'm saying. They're an independent school. They have their because Notre Dame is a national draw. They have their own contract with NBC to play their games exclusively on NBC.
And I understand that. So it's one hand greases the other hand. I get it.
Okay. All right, man. What's going on with Chicago's Big Ten team?
There is nothing going on with the Wildcats. The Wildcats in the 10 years that since Nebraska joined the Big Ten, the Cornhuskers' tightest game have been against Northwestern. On Saturday night, when the Huskers were nearly flawless after a back-to-back mistake-filled losses to ranked opponents, they posted their most lopsided conference win against the Wildcats, 56-7. They got 50 burger, bro. The Wildcats. I guess go Cats. The next game will be October 16th when they welcome in Rutgers. Yeah.
So the reason, let me tell you, the reason why they got their ass beat so bad was because Nebraska quarterback Adrian Martinez, he was only 11 for 17 with 202 yards. He did have one touchdown, but he had, count them, not one, not two, but 3 rushing touchdowns. This man is dangerous. This is like one of these guys that is going to probably do really well in college and suck in the NFL. Mm-hmm. But that is why I actually love college football, is because you get these guys that, depending on the circumstance, they're amazing. You know what I mean? Like a running quarterback who's getting touchdowns consistently. He's not that great of a thrower, but I mean, look, Northwestern scored 1 touchdown in the first quarter and then says, I'm done. I don't want to do it anymore. I don't feel like scoring. Nebraska came out with 21 in the first quarter, then another 2 touchdowns in the second, another 2 touchdowns in the third, and then to cap off, 1 more touchdown in the fourth quarter to score their 56 points. This is one of those games where I'm sure that Pat and the rest of the crew up there are really just hoping that the rest of the team forgets.
You already gave them too much airtime. A 50 burger, you deserve not to be talked about. All right, moving on. What's going on with the Fighting Illini?
Hold up. We still got this is still a team that we pay attention to, the local, and they're going to play another Big Ten opponent October 16 when they welcome in Rutgers. So they do have a couple weeks to lick their wounds over there with their little kitty cat paws.
Get a cat. Get a cat. Get a cat. All right.
Oh, man.
Now let's talk about your Fighting Illini.
Nobody's fighting there.
What are you talking about?
It was a rocky first half of football, but the Illini managed to turn on the Jets in the second half to win this game 24-14 over the Charlotte 49ers. Now, if I give you $1 for every time you've heard of the Charlotte 49ers, you'd be broke as shit. Because no one outside of Charlotte has ever heard of the Charlotte 49ers.
That shit makes no sense.
Yeah, whatever. We're not, the big thing for Illinois was their rushing attack because Brandon Peters, a quarterback, only went 10 for 19, 78 yards and 1 touchdown. But the big story is Chase Brown, 26 carries, 257 yards,
Jesus,
and 2 touchdowns. He averaged 9.9 yards a carry. That is insane. 257 yards. So they beat up on a piece of crap school that no one cares about and no one ever heard of, and good for them, and nobody cares. They face Wisconsin next week at home,
and they're gonna get smoked. They're gonna get smoked by Wisconsin.
Well, I mean, not that Wisconsin ain't that great either. I mean,
yeah, but they're better than Illinois.
Yeah, I mean, look, it'll be. Do you want ice cream flavored shit or shit flavored ice cream? That's what this is. Pick one.
I'm gonna go home and shit myself. And that'll make sense later on in the show, people.
Oh, man. All right, bro. What's going on with these really impressive Chicago Sky?
All right, the number 6 seeded Skies pull off they're 1 win away from the WNBA Finals as the Suns struggled to close out Game 3. Courtney Vandersloot didn't score her first points till early in the fourth quarter. When she did, it was as if the first crack of an avalanche. Vandersloot again proved key for the number 6 seed Chicago, leading the Sky down the stretch for an 86-83 win against the number 1 Connecticut Sun in Game 3 at Wintrust Arena in Chicago. She scored all 7 points in the fourth quarter and added 13 assists and 5 rebounds. Jesus. Wow. Candace Parker's rebound of the Suns' final possession sealed the win as she added a free throw on the other end. The Sun had chances to close both their losses late, but haven't been able to do so. This past Sunday, the glaring play was a missed layup by Brianne Janarion. Yeah, I got that right. A steal.
January. On a steal.
Janarion.
No, it's January, space, on a steal.
Oh, look at that. Look at that.
Oh, man.
Janarion.
Adding people's names. It's Breon January.
All right.
Space. Yeah. On a steal that would have put them ahead.
There we go. On Sunday, the glaring play was a missed layup by Brianne January on a steal that would have put them ahead, but they had other chances on both ends. And once again, MVP Jonquel Jones stayed relatively quiet. Now the Sky are 1 win away from a spot in WNBA Finals. Game 4 is back at Wintrust Arena on Wednesday. Mañana.
Hey, look, the good thing is that we're watching this team come together at the right time.
Right, they're getting hot.
Really, when it comes down to like I always say, all you need is a chip and a chair. If you can get into the tournament, you can win the tournament. And that, so far, they are advancing. And, hey, man, I'm super proud. I'm going to be watching these games. Just, as a girl dad, I want my daughter to be able to see a women's team, especially locally, win a championship. And I'm hoping that that's the track that they're on. Yeah,
everybody go support the WNBA and the Sky. I mean, I'm pretty sure tickets are not that as expensive as the Bulls tickets, but still, right. It's a great arena. It's a brand new arena. Go support the Sky. And, if they win, they'll get to the NBA Finals, and you can see that beautiful celebration.
Absolutely, absolutely.
All right, we'll be right back with 3 Up and 3 Down after a word from our sponsors.
This is Chicago. Doors open on the left at Chicago.
Welcome to Chicago.
We all know that 2020 was no joke, and with an ever-changing world climate, many people are looking for a new opportunity. Guys, are you looking for a career that rewards effort and makes you feel valued as a team member? Let me tell you a little about our friends at ACSI. ACSI is a certified RCN business agent. They provide the same RCN services with a personalized touch. Their sales and technician teams work hand in hand, ensuring your experience will be smooth and pleasant. Gone are the days of being transferred from one person to the next. At ACSI, they handle everything from start to finish. It's never been so easy to get internet service. ACSI is a growing Chicagoland company that encourages personal growth and rewards perseverance. As they expand, they're looking for passionate, responsible, and honest professionals to join their team. A career with ACSI means you will be part of a hardworking, flexible, and dynamic team that is a leader in the installation of cable and internet services in the Chicagoland area. Best of all, ACSI was awarded Hacia's 2020 Contractor of the Year Award. Are you ready to grow with a local Chicago company on the rise? Check out acsi.tech and click on careers to get started. That's acsi.tech and click on careers. Welcome back to the True Chicago Sports Fan Podcast with E-Rock and Big Z.
Yeah.
Time to touch bases with our baseball teams. This is 3 up and 3 down.
I think I'll perplex him with my slow ball.
1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out.
All right, the Cubs, baby, the Cubs. The Cubs played their final series of the season, trying to take a few from the Cardinals. And look, while I'm sad that baseball season is over for the Northsiders, I'm happy to look ahead to the future of the team. And, you know, we'll take some time and we'll break down the possibilities of what this team could look like in the future in a later episode. But for now, I will give credit where credit is due. And I'll throw this one at you.
Thanks, Cubs.
Hey.
And I'll throw it over to Z to tell us what's going on with the AL Central champs.
Let's go, 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 White Sox. We're with you all the way. You're always in there fighting and you do your best. We're glad to have you.
Thanks, E-Rock. Yeah, I know we haven't mentioned Hispanic heritage much and stuff like that.
Yep.
But, we have a pretty cool guest. So that should cover that. And we have another guest next week that should cover that as well. But there's a lot of Latin players in all of our teams or in our organization. So I don't want to diminish that. But happy Hispanic Heritage Month. Yeah, it's a lot of H's in that thing. Hispanic Heritage Month. So
yeah, I mean, and we had the song. We had to play it. I've been sitting on that song. So
yeah, I've had it in the bank, and I forget to use it. So it's an awesome song. All right, so White Sox news. Let's get to White Sox baseball. White Sox are closing out game 162. Actually, they just finished it out right now. They ended up losing to the last game of the Detroit series, and it's been a hell of a season. Let's just not lie about it. It's been a hell of a season. From being upset that they hired LaRusso over Cora, AJ Hinch, and even Ozzie, and he wasn't even given an interview. But whatever, let's put that to the side. There's been injuries just about every single player on the roster. The Yerminator was taking baseball by storm and then fizzled out like a flat pop. You had rookies step up and change positions in Galvin Sheets and Andrew Vaughn. Lyric Garcia was a Swiss Army knife that set up to play around 100 games and ended up playing the whole season and became the gorilla glue of the clubhouse. While the White Sox won't be able to secure the overall second seed in the AL for home field advantage, they're going to start their series against the Astros and the ALDS on Thursday and then Friday over there. And then the blackout game will be next Sunday. And I guarantee you that the MLB is going to fuck us over and put it at the same time as the Bears game, because the Bears game is a 3 o'clock game. I guarantee you that this White Sox game is going to be a 4 p.m. game.
I mean, is that really fucking you over? I mean, what are you supposed to do? They got to play the games or they got to play the games.
Put that shit at night.
If you're playing in Houston, that's the problem is that...
No, that's going to be the Chicago game.
Fans always get upset about the first round because they got early games and late games, and then later on in the playoffs, you got your later games. It is what it is, bro. Yeah, pop your tab.
Yeah, pop that tab. I mean, it's a Sunday game. That's a premier game. That should be the Sunday night baseball game.
Okay, but what other Sunday night baseball games are going on?
I don't give a shit. I don't give a fuck.
You don't have to, but guess what? The White Sox are not a national draw. I'm sorry to tell you that. The White Sox are barely a regional draw, okay?
No, so, we had a very, very good regional draw. We are not a national draw like you said.
Right, but you understand what I'm saying is that when you look at baseball fans in Chicago, you're gonna have trickle over Cubs fans because they like baseball, but you're also gonna have the White Sox haters that are Cubs fans because they just hate whatever. You know what I mean? That which is silly as shit to me.
It is super silly.
Chicago,
Chicago,
it's whatever.
everybody.
When they're playing against each other, that's a different story. But when you got one team in the playoffs and not. You could be bitter that they're there or not, but it is what it is. So, but yeah, I mean, like, what are you supposed to do? It's a game. Play the game, and we'll see what happens. We'll see where it happens because we also have to see what happens in the wild card, and that's going to be interesting because you got all of AL East just beating the shit out of each other. Yeah. So you got the wild card. Then we'll see who the matchup is going to be. Afterwards. And if someone's playing against the Rays, you ain't got to worry about it. You're good.
Well, it's going to be, the Rays you get to sit this one out. And then you got Boston and New York playing in that wild card at one game to play the Rays. So, they're going to just beat the shit out of each other.
That's what I'm saying is that whoever wins that, and if it's going to be the Rays, you ain't got to worry about it because the Rays are not a draw.
The Rays are not a draw at all.
Astros,
then we're going to get all the 1 p.m., 2 p.m. games if the fucking Rays win. I guarantee you that right now.
Why? The Rays are East Coast. They're going to play earlier.
That's what I'm saying. They're going to play at 1 o'clock, and fucking Dodgers are going to get the fucking national game at fucking 7 o'clock. Well, I'm not mad because I'm a Dodger fan too.
That's possible too. But the Dodgers won the World Series last year.
Yeah. I'm not mad. So the Dodgers have a draw. I'm not going to lie about that. All right, let's get back to White Sox. Let's get to White Sox. All right, so right now, my concerns for the White Sox playoff concerns right now are Dallas Keuchel. He had a rough 2 months of the end of the season with a 7 ERA in August, 6 in September, and on Saturday, he could not finish the relief outing, giving up 3 runs and 4 hits and a walk. And my second concern is Rodon. His last pitched outing, he pitched against the Reds. He pitched well. He really did pitch well. He pitched 5 innings, gave up 1 hit on 2 walks, but he's going to be evaluated today to see if he'll be able to be on the playoff roster. They're not sure. He's pitched a lot of innings, and that arm is being taxed.
The funny thing is that you talk about Dallas Keuchel. We were listening to the Nagy postgame yesterday or earlier today, and he actually talked about watching Dallas Keuchel's last couple starts.
Oh, fuck.
This is not how we wanted it to go. You almost can't even make it up. It's that bad.
That's what he thinks about Dallas Keuchel, and I think that's what most White Sox fans think about Dallas Keuchel.
Here's the problem, because Tony La Russa, even though he's never been like my number one guy, but he's proven me wrong all year, he said about Dallas Keuchel's last outing, he looked like he had his speed and he was pitching good and his arm slot was good. His stuff looked good. He just got hit. Look, dude.
Yeah,
he's pitched twice.
Look, he's had cataracts for the past 20 years.
That's where I was going to go. Keuchel's only pitched twice out of like the bullpen, and Keuchel's pitched a couple times out of the bullpen, and it's been shit. And it's literally been shit. It's been once with the White Sox, once with the Astros, and it's been shit. So I understand he's got championship pedigree, but guess what? I'll take Lopez over Keuchel any day of this year right now. Lopez has shown you that he's a valuable piece in that bullpen that can go multiple innings. So even if Rodon makes the roster, and let's say he starts and he gives you 3 innings, you put Lopez right after that, and then you got the 6, 7, 8, and 9 already covered. You're showing the shit out of the game.
The game that I went to was a Lopez start, and he looked good. You know what I mean? Like it was. I think it was a 7-1 win. I want to say. Lou Bob had like 2 home runs. So, I mean, Anderson had a home run.
Yeah, to start the game. Yep.
So, this is it's a hard bullpen as far as like the top of the bullpen to figure out, because you're sitting there, what do I do with Rodon? What do I do with Dallas Keuchel? What do I do with Lopez? And Lopez has actually come back into his own as a starter. So, I mean, you're not going to use him to start, but he's valuable. And you got 3 guys right there who are. I'm more concerned more than anything else about Rodon, because I think you definitely need him to be able to win consistently, to fill in that slot. Because you got to remember, these are not just like Joe Schmo teams you're playing against. You're playing against the other
Astros.
best teams, and they have not done that well against teams over 500.
No, not at all. And what the thing is that it's a 5-game series, so you're going to have 3 starters. That's all. Everyone else is a bullpen guy. So your 3 starters are going to be Lance Lynn. He should be your number 1. Giolito should be your number 2. If you want to argue those 2, that's fine. I have no qual about that. If you want to go flip them out, I don't care. That's fine. And then your number 3 is your Cease, and he's been pitching his ass off in the last couple of months, and he pitched his ass off today. The bullpen. Today was a getaway day. Tony didn't give a shit because yesterday Houston beat the A's to get the number 2 seed. So today did not mean shit to the White Sox winning or losing. It was really about reps, and he probably put in the bullpen. I didn't get to watch the game because it was at the same time as the Bears game, and let's be honest, the Bears take over anything, and the game didn't mean shit. So again, it's a 3-man starting pitching, and the rest of the game is bullpen. So Keuchel, Lopez, whatever, it's going to be a bullpen. Now, if you advance after that division series and you get to the championship series, okay, now you have a 4-man to 5-man starting rotation. You're gonna need Rodon. So do I think the White Sox can advance without Rodon in that first series? I do, but I don't think they get past the second series without Rodon.
No, I mean, they're definitely going to need him, and the thing is that you got to decide really what you're going to do with Keuchel. Is he even going to get playing time against the Astros?
I hope not.
You know, that's the big question, because like I said before, you look at the bullpen itself, it's been pretty solid. Kimbrel's been a little bit shaky. You got a couple of guys you don't see that often, but
Kimbrel's adjusting to being the eighth inning man.
Right.
The thing is that you've also had Bummer. Bummer's been lights out in the last 4 weeks. And this is a guy that sucked all year. And then prior to, last year, he was amazing and shut everybody down. So I think he's back to old, and Tony trusts him. So when you have Tony's trust, it goes a long way. You get a long leash with that. Now, the thing is that, like you said, Keuchel, where does he fit in the bullpen? For me, he's all the way in the back, breaking cast in case of emergency with a fucking hammer, and pray to God he doesn't give a fucking 5 runs like he did against the Cubs and everybody else.
There is a certain number of players in the bullpen that you're really going to be relying on, and that's Tepera.
Yes.
Kopech.
Yes.
You got Crochet. Hopefully you don't have to, but Crochet is another one.
Yeah. Ruiz.
And the problem is that these guys, you can't. Yeah, Ruiz. You can't rely on them every single game, so you're going to need some of these starters to go deep, and you're not going to be able to have Liam Hendricks out there every single day.
No, but that's why you have 2 closers.
But that's why you have 2 closers,
right?
You know what I mean,
you have that luxury, and the thing is that Kopech is a starting pitcher. So let's just put that out there, because next year they might make some moves, and Kopech is your starting pitcher. Guess what?
Yeah,
they've been stretching him out for the past 3 weeks. He's gonna pitch 3 to 4 innings in a series if need be.
But that's what I'm saying is that what if you're able to start Rodon, then you can have Kopech come in behind him and pitch 3 more innings.
Right, and the next game have Lopez do the same thing.
You get Kopech for 3 innings, then you got Tepera, you got Kimbrel, and you got your guy Hendricks. So I mean, that right there would be ideal, where you're not completely and that would be like a closeout game or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, where at least for the first series, you know what I mean? The first, because once you get in deeper, you're gonna want your other guys to go in longer. But you need to have these guys fresh in case you need someone to break glass in case of emergency. My starter did not have it today. He just got blown up in the first inning, and that's the scary thing. Now you're just sitting there playing a game, and you really have to rely on that offense. And I don't know, man.
Here's your perfect scenario. Keuchel comes in a high leverage game, and it's just like Contreras in 2005. He comes in, the bases are juiced. You need 2 outs, and this dude gives you everything and empties the tank in that 1 inning and gets you out of that jam. That's what he needs to do. He needs to do whatever it takes to get the team over the hump, get that team to the next game, get the team to the next series, get the team to the fucking World Series. As simple as that. Do your fucking job.
I mean, I think that there's a possibility for a guy like Keuchel, if he could play a role where he just kind of comes in and almost shocks everyone at this point.
Yeah.
What it reminds me of is Schwarber, where he came in, you didn't really expect anything from him, but he played a hero. If you could have Keuchel come in and play a hero in a certain scenario, it's going to boost him up. It's going to boost the entire team's confidence going forward. You got him, who was a big free agent signing. If you got him and he just completely collapses, you best hope that the guys that you actually drafted and brought in are going to be able to get it done for you.
Right. Yeah. All right, let's wrap up White Sox news. The Baseball Hall of Fame, Frank Thomas, has become a television advertising fixture over the past few years. Let's not advertise his products because I'm not going to say that out loud. And on Thursday, he bought into a site that graced television screens over a quarter of a century. The Big Hurt joined real estate developer Rick Heidner in buying... Heidner. Okay. I said Heidner. That was close. In buying controlling interest of the Field of Dreams movie site and its sister company, All-Star Park
Ballpark Haven. Holy crap.
All-Star Park Heaven.
Once again, remind everyone, ladies and gentlemen, this is a school teacher.
This is why I teach PE and throw dodgeballs at kids. All right. The movie site, new ownership group, Thomas and Heidner. This is Heaven LLC will be the name. Thomas and the CEO and former Los Angeles Dodgers manager, Dan Evans, the chief operating officer. We're excited to lead the future development and expansion of the Field of Dreams in collaborative spirit with our neighbors and government officials. I know you're giving me shit over there laughing around. All right. So that's all I got to say about that. He is getting in before the market gets hot. That's what it looks like. Because if MLB is going to be doing the games on a yearly basis, he's going to make hand over fist in money.
He's going to move on from selling boner pills or whatever the hell he does now. and
testosterone pills.
Me too. You know what I mean? Like, how do you still work out 8 days a week? Well, first of all, I add another day on the end of every week. Look, hey, good. It's cool to see him get involved as outside of from these boner pills or whatever it is, and actually join a legitimate business where he's not him and Doug Flutie out there, hawking pills.
Oh boy.
Hey,
no, I'm agreeing with you. I'm agreeing with you.
He's got to make. Hey, I'm not going against you. He's got to make some money. And look, we're seeing in an era of
Frank is not missing any money. He works for Fox and he works for NBC Sports. He's not missing any money.
No. But I'm saying, like, you can do that all day. Ryan Dempster has been doing it, but he doesn't have his own company like this. And that's what I'm saying is that to see something to create the generational wealth. I mean, like I said, we're seeing professional athletes join broadcasting more and more often. I mean, today we saw Aqib Talib with Gus Johnson doing the Bears game. You know what I mean? And he's sitting out there with his black shirt and his. He
looked like Nino Brown,
like that. So, I mean, it's cool. I'm happy for him. And you're right that he's getting in on the ground floor before the MLB really blows up this site. So good, man.
I'm happy for Frank. I'm really happy for Frank. To be honest with you, he is really good on the broadcast. Like, he breaks the game down to the T. Obviously, he's a freaking 6-time All-Star, batting champion, all that stuff. He's got accolades up the wahoo. He's really good. I don't know why he's not in the booth, but when he does, do a guest booth appearance for the White Sox, he is really good. Now,
he doesn't need to be in the booth, because don't forget that he's also doing the Fox National games out there with Big Papi and all that.
Right, he does national games, and he does the he does the
post game.
Yeah, everything. Yeah, postseason. The whole postseason. He's on Fox.
This is what I want to know. I want to know how much I have to pay him to get him to punch Bacon in the face, because that guy sucks. He is the worst.
Oh my God! When they had him on the broadcast, I turned it off. I muted it, and then I put fucking DJ and Len. So that'll tell you how much I don't like Bacon on the mic.
Yeah, on the mic. I mean, on a sandwich, yes, but on the microphone, it's terrible.
Yeah, BLT, baby. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's take a pause for the cause, and we'll be right back with our interview with today's special guest, Carlos Big Z Zambrano.
The real Big Z.
What the fuck?
Oh, well, there's strikes 2 and 3 right there.
I think I'll perplex him with my slow ball.
1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out.
Hey, true Chicago sports fans, show off your Chicago pride with some fresh clothes from Grit Clothing Company. At Grit Clothing, they create that simple yet classic style that represents that Chicago Southside lifestyle. From t-shirts to hoodies, hats to glassware, they've got you covered. Grit has everything you need to represent your Chicago pride. So do it right now. Check out gritclothingco.com and use the promo code TrueFan15.
TrueFan15.
For 15% off your entire order. Let me say it again. That's gritclothingco.com and use the promo code TrueFan15 for 15% off of your entire order.
Ladies and gentlemen, today's guest is a Chicago favorite, a 3-time All-Star, 3-time Silver Slugger. He has 132 wins. He is the real Big Z, Carlos Zambrano. Welcome to the show, Carlos.
Thank you, guys, and I'm excited to be here and to be part of any interview, for the Chicago area and Chicago fans.
Absolutely,
Chicago Cubs.
That's what's up. Yep. Hey, look, so of course, Cubs fans like me remember your time on the north side and your baseball career, but I want to take it back a little bit and talk about where it all started. How did you get started playing baseball, and were you always a pitcher as a kid, or did you play other positions?
Well, no, I didn't play baseball until I was 14. My younger brother, he played baseball since he was 7 years old. He started T-ball.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not. I was a soccer player. I played basketball. I played, different sports, but I never played any organized baseball until I was 14, and then I played right field. I was terrible player. I was the worst player in the world. And one day I was 15 years old, and I was playing right field, and somebody hit a ball to right field, and the ball literally went to my glove. I didn't catch the ball. The ball went to my glove, and I grabbed the ball. There was a man on second, and I threw the ball to home plate, and I threw a cannon.
Okay.
So this guy was in the stands. His name is Julio Figueroa. He's one of the scouts for the Cubs. Right now, he worked for the Cubs. Back in the day, he wasn't working for the Cubs, so he was just a normal fan. And after the game, he called me and he said, "Hey, you got a good arm." I say, "Yeah." And he asked me, he say, "Can you pitch?" And I say, "No, I never pitch." He say, "Ask the manager to see if you can pitch the next time, so I can see you." So, the next time I asked the manager, and he say, "You sure?" I say, "Yeah, I want to pitch." So, he put me to pitch, and the rest is history.
There you go.
Wow.
There you go.
I became a pitcher. So that's how I became a pitcher.
So is that your favorite position? Obviously, the pitch instead of right field.
Well, I like to pitch, but I like to hit too. I'm kind of like Ohtani. I like both.
You were Ohtani before Ohtani.
So people don't know, but I can throw left-handed too. I can throw 80s.
Wow.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of people knew that at all. I mean, that's pretty impressive.
All right, Carlos, tell us about your family in Venezuela. Do you have more siblings? Obviously, we talked a little bit about your brother. Did anybody else play sports besides to get farther? You said your brother played when he was 8. Did he play any professional baseball, or what would happen with your brother?
Yeah, my dad is in Venezuela. He lives in Venezuela. I have 3 brothers in Venezuela. I have one brother in Chile, and 3 other brothers. 3 brothers here in Miami.
Okay.
Wow.
So we're
a big family.
We're 7. Yeah, we're 7 brothers. Everybody's 6'1", 6'2".
Wow.
And I'm the tallest one, 6'5". My mom died last year.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry to hear that.
She was 74, and the best mom. And my oldest brother, he played in amateur in Venezuela. He never played professional, but he was good.
Okay.
He was a pitcher, left-handed. He's 54 years old, and he can still pitch.
Wow.
He throws 78, 79, and his arm never got. I mean, he never hurt his arm, so
he can still do it.
Yeah, my older brothers play baseball, but no, not like high level. Only me and the other brother that went to international competition, but he never played professional.
So we talk about professional baseball. Like, when you came to the North Side, what was it first like for you? And did you always want to be a starter, or did you think maybe you'd be like a closer or a bullpen guy?
Yeah, I hated being a starter. I mean, a reliever.
Okay.
When I was in AAA, I was in AA. In 99, I was in AA. No, I'm sorry, in 2000, I was in AA.
Okay.
And I was a starting pitcher. I started 9 games for the AA affiliate for the Cubs, and I only gave up like 5 runs in 70-some innings. I was throwing gas. So they brought me out. They promoted me to AAA, and but as a closer, Rick Aguilera was a closer for the Cubs, and he was struggle. Mm-hmm. And they told me, hey, you may be in the big leagues this year as a closer. They may try to see, to work on how it is gonna work for you and the team, so you become the closer for the Cubs. And I say, I don't like this, but I have to do it. I want to do it because I want to play in the big leagues.
Right.
So I ended up injuring my knee, and I ended up having surgery on my knee. And, I couldn't play or finish the season that year.
Okay.
So the next year, they put me back in the rotation in AAA. And that was the year, they called me to the big leagues in 2001.
Nice.
Gotcha.
All right. You're known as one of the one of the best hitting pitchers of all time. And you have the Cubs records for home runs by a pitcher at 24. Do you have a favorite home run that you can remember in your career?
Yeah, there's few, but I remember one time we were playing in Houston, and Wade Miller was pitching that day, and we were losing that game. We were losing that game, and in the sixth inning or 7th inning, Dusty called me, and I get to. It was my turn to go hit, to go to the plate, and Dusty said, "Hey, you may don't hit this time. You want to hit this?" And I say, "Yeah."
Of course.
I think we were losing the game 3-1 or 3-2 or something, 4-2, something like that. I know that we were down by 2 runs, and there were two men on base, and he gave me the chance to hit, and I hit a home run, 3-run.
Nice.
And we ended up winning the game 5-3 or 5 something. And I pitched 7 innings, and we won the game. That was exciting for me.
That's the one that sticks on your head because you came in and you were able to get it and you smacked it. I used to love to watch you hit because there was not a ton of pitchers that would hit like that. You know, you talk about Ohtani. I mean, you might have helped to pave the way for a guy like that to be able to pitch and hit. And I think Ohtani, a lot of Cubs fan, to me, especially when the Cubs were going through a lot of their playoff runs recently. I mean, he would have been a great addition for what we were trying to do up here. But unfortunately, he didn't end up here, and now he's on a team where he's got to play in the AL. But yeah, man, I always liked watching you hit. You know, I've been a Cubs fan probably since the late 90s when Sammy Sosa came onto the scene. And, you know, as the Cubs fan in the room, I was definitely heartbroken when the Cubs didn't go all the way in 03. You know, tell us what your emotion was like and what the clubhouse was like when the Marlins came back to win that series.
Well, you know, first of all, check this out. This is what I earned for the 3 series.
Wow.
So I have to.
You got the sluggers and the awards up there on the mantle. That's awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So that's
beautiful.
You know. Yeah. Yeah.
That's how proud you are of the hitting. It's right there.
Yes.
2003 was my 3rd year in the big leagues, and it was very emotional because you know, we ended up losing to the Marlins. And they ended up winning the World Series.
Yeah.
That's what. But that was sad. I have never seen in my whole career, period, to that time or after that time, I have never seen the clubhouse so quiet, so sad. You know, I remember Randall Simon was crying like a baby, and you know, there were people that were crying. You know, it was very disappointing. You know, because we knew that we had the team to do you know, win it all. So, but unfortunately, we didn't do it. But you know. 13 years later.
Yeah, man. I wanted to ask you about that because you know, unfortunately, as a member of the team, you weren't able to get there. But you know, you talk about crying. I was crying like a baby. I got the W flag right behind me, and I had that thing wrapped around me like a cape. I was outside crying. I was drinking tequila. I was having a great time. So, tell us what you felt. You know, how it felt for you to watch the Cubs win that World Series in 2016.
Yeah, I was in Venezuela by that time. You know, I couldn't fly to Chicago. They were inviting people to celebrate, you know, former players, and I couldn't go because I was I was on a mission in Venezuela.
Okay.
And you know, but I enjoyed the game. You know, I remember that I have a friend in Chicago that I FaceTime him. You know, he was in the streets, and I think he was on Clark or Addison. Clark. He was Clark Avenue, and you know, he was showing me the city, the people sharing, and the people, you know, going crazy. And you know, I lived that moment like I was in Chicago for you know, for the championship.
Yeah, that was amazing. It's amazing to me to see what happened this last year, but you know, it was great for us to be able to accomplish that, and then all the Cubs fans around the world that you know, that had relatives that were Cubs fans for so long and didn't get to see that moment. That was special for those families as well. So I'm glad you were able to enjoy that.
Yeah, it was awesome. I mean, especially for those kids that were in the team, and you know, those one that was, you know, 2 kids like David Ross, or you know, those veterans, but you know, like Anthony Rizzo, Chris Bryant. They're kids, you know.
Yeah,
I'm 40 years old.
Yeah, we're all 40 in this room, so
we're all 40.
we all turned 40 this year, so we know exactly what you're talking about, man.
Yeah, and they were the players that finally came through after 100-something years.
Right.
You know, and like I said the other day, you know, there were so many players that went through the Cubs organization, like Ernie Banks, Ray Sandberg, Billy Williams, Sammy Sosa, Ferguson Jenkins, Kerry Wood,
Santo,
Ron Santo. You know, there is so many good players. You know, that try to break the curse, and finally, Rizzo, Bryant, Baez, Contreras, which is he's from the same town that I am in Venezuela.
Oh, nice.
They finally did it. And the most important for me is that number 38 was he made it the last out. So my jersey made it the last out. So I gave the anointing to Montgomery.
That's amazing.
That's awesome.
That's amazing. That's fantastic.
Carlos, what do you feel is your biggest accomplishment as a Cub?
Well, I think, to be able to teach other players and, to receive from Maddox and, I remember I played 1 year with Kevin Tapani. He was a great mentor for me, that last year. And obviously, Maddox, and to learn from Dempster, from each teammate, and then gave away what I received, and that's for me is accomplished. To teach what I know. To other players, to other pitcher, for me that's accomplished. That's a mission well done.
No, you're talking a little bit about some of the players that you used to play with. Who's your favorite teammate to play with, and which teammate had the biggest influence on you?
Well, big influence is different than who was my closer player.
Right.
Because I can say that Woody was one of the person that take care of me, and he was and is the best teammate that I had in the Cubs.
Yeah.
He was so professional to us. I was a rookie when I came up, and he had 3 years in the big leagues, and he treated me like he treated me good, professional, and a closer person in the team was Gio Soto.
Okay,
catcher.
Yeah, we're still getting in contact each other. I'm still talking to texting. I still text Woody, Dempster,
nice,
Giovanni Soto, who else? Henry Blanco,
Hank White, man, that's what they used to call.
Yeah.
Hey, and I think Soto was just at the at Wrigley for a first pitch not too long ago. Yeah, that was cool.
I saw him. He and Aramis was.
Yeah, Aramis. That was my. That was my wife's favorite player because she had a crush on him. So we got his jersey in the house. I had to get her his jersey because she loved him.
Yeah.
Carlos, who was your favorite manager to play for, and then what is your favorite stadium to play in?
Yeah.
Well, definitely my favorite manager is Dusty Baker.
Yeah. Okay.
Dusty was awesome, and he was. He was so, how do you say, entendible.
Understandable.
You can understand him. Yeah. You can understand him all the way. He was so straight, so clear. If he don't like anything, he call you to the office and say, the right way.
Mm-hmm.
He's a wisdom. He has wisdom. He's smart, and for me, he's the best manager that I have.
He's always been he's had a lot of he's always been known for being very direct with his players and being a player's coach, and giving you guys accountability, and I think that's why a lot of players love playing for him.
Yeah. I mean, I wish him the best in this playoff, and finally he can go all the way through.
Yeah, but on the wrong team though this year.
Not this year.
He's not. Yeah, not
this year.
Not this year. Because you got to play the White Sox, and that's even though if the Cubs ain't in it, I got to root for the White Sox, and I'm always happy for my friends who are Sox fans, so I want them to be able to get it too. So
yeah, I love Dusty, but not this year. Carlos, what's your favorite stadium to play for and play in?
My favorite stadium was the Petco Park.
Okay.
I love Petco Park. I love the West Coast. In fact, I don't know why I didn't after I finished with the Cubs or the Marlins. I don't know why I didn't sign with any of those teams,
the West Coast
because my record and my pitching performance was so good in the West Coast. And I don't know why I didn't thought about that, to go to any of, San Diego, LA or whatever,
right.
Any of those teams.
The weather, so nice out there. I mean, I think anyone would want to play out there.
So, Carlos, Carlos, can you tell us about your last year in Miami? Because I know it's obviously pitching in Chicago and Miami are completely different. Can you tell us a little bit about your last year in Miami and then why you retired?
It was good. It was weird because remember it was weird because I was with the Cubs since I was 16.
Right.
I was a kid when I came to the Cubs organization. And then 16 years later, I ended up being involved in the trade to the Marlins, and
right.
I don't know, this organization obviously is a different organization than the Cubs.
Mm-hmm.
They do different, they do things different, and different, and it was weird for me. It's like when you are home, you can go to every corner of your house, and you can sleep in your dad or with your mom or dad, in the bed. You can lay in the bed. You can go any corner of your parents' house.
Just that familiar.
With the Marlins, I was like,
It's just being familiar with your surroundings and having something different after so long. Yeah. It's got to be weird.
Yeah, maybe because it was only a year, that I played 1 year for them, and then, I was like, no, I don't want to go there. No, I don't want to go do this. In Chicago, I had my spot where I laid and think, rest, whatever. But in Chicago, I was like, come to the game and do my job and then go home. Come to the game, do my job, and then go home. I didn't have that spot.
You didn't feel like home.
That every player must have.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you're Bartolo, top 15, 16 different teams, and he never found a place. But I think that's the difference between the Cubs and the Marlins. The Marlins are they're a good organization, good ball club. But I never feel comfortable, being a Marlin.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about one of your biggest moments as a Cub. You ended a long drought of no hitters by Cubs pitchers, and I know it was a weird circumstance playing, out of the park you were supposed to play in. But I mean, it was pretty amazing to see you get that no-hitter. So why don't you tell us a little bit about that moment and tell us how special that was for you?
Well, it was special because, I remember I came from an injury and my arm was feeling so good. And at the other hand, Lou, I saw Lou in the 7th inning and the 8th inning, and I thought he was going to pull me out because, I came from injury and I had 100 something pitches. Mm-hmm. So he let me go through and, I appreciate that, finally, But it was special, that was the year that I need that. What I need something different that year, and it was special. Every time you throw an no-hitter, which is something that not every pitcher had in their career.
Right.
There's some pitchers that spend 20 years in the big leagues and they never throw a no-hitter. That's throw a no-hitter is how can I say this is it's like a you pull the lottery.
Yeah, you win the lottery.
You win the lottery.
The winning number. I saw the other day, and I didn't know this. I saw the other day that Roger Clemens didn't have a no-hitter in his career.
Really?
And
I didn't know that at all.
Yeah, and Nolan Ryan didn't have Cy Young.
Oh, so, what? Wait a minute.
Roger, it's like 20 years.
Yeah, I didn't. I didn't know that Roger Clemens had 7. How many Cy Youngs?
Oh, it was a lot. You might be on point with 7 or 8. I mean, he had a ton.
I think 7 Cy Youngs. Roger Clemens.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
But Nolan Ryan had 7 no-hitters.
Yeah. So Roger Clemens 7 Cy Youngs. Yes.
Yeah.
What's funny is that very soon after you threw that no-hitter, I actually ran into Rich Harden, and one of the things we actually talked for a good half hour, and one of the things that we talked about was when he came over from Oakland, the difference between playing in Oakland and then playing in Chicago for a guy like Lou Piniella. Can you tell us a little bit about playing for Lou and what that was like?
Oh, Lou, sweet Lou.
Yeah.
He was so sweet. When he managed the Cubs that year, he was a good manager. He was understandable. How do you say that again?
Entendible, very understandable.
Understandable.
And he was very clear at the point of talking to the player. Remember, and everybody know this. Lou was not a pitcher guy. He was he was a position player. But to me, he was great. He treated me good and he treated me well. And I can't say any other thing about Lou. Maybe other pitchers have their own, respond to. But for me, for Carlos Zambrano, Lou, treat me professionally, and the way that he comes and coming to the office and say, hey, we want to do this, and we want to do this other thing, we want to push in the game this, after the All-Star break, you want to start for us again, and all these things that you appreciate, and that's sweet Lou.
Yeah. A little bit earlier we talked about some of your favorite players to play with. I gotta ask, man, what really happened between you and Michael Barrett in that one game?
You beat me to it.
How do you say villano?
Villano. Diciendo que ¿qué es villano?
Like the Let me look at here. Yeah, let me. You know, let's say that I'm the bad guy. You know, I don't want to talk about what happened because it's in the past and it doesn't matter. You know, we're friends.
But you guys are cool now.
Yeah. Since this, the next day we talk to each other, and he apologized to me and I apologized to him, and we clear everything.
Like two men should. Like two men should. I was wrong, you were wrong, and you shake hands and you move forward.
Yeah.
Sometimes brother got to fight, and sometimes brothers got to hug. That's what it is.
Yeah, man. I remember I was in the in the hot tub, and I saw him through the glass, and he came to me, and he looked at me, and he says in Spanish, "¿Qué pasó, hermano?" And I say, "I don't know, brother." And he say, "We lost our mind." and I say, "Yeah, man, I'm sorry." And I say, "I'm sorry too." So we hug, and after that, he got traded, and I saw him a couple of times, we talk normally like a brothers, like a brother. He used to call me brother, and in Spanish, hermano. He used to call me every time. He called me hermano. So that's what we are in the clubhouse. We're brothers. We spend more time with the players than with the family. So that's in the past.
Okay, Carlos, what is your favorite Chicago food?
My favorite Chicago food, hot dog.
Hey, what do you like on your hot dog?
Onions and mustard.
Yes.
Ketchup.
Oh no! You had me into the ketchup. The onions and mustard is my jam. But it's funny because we talk about food quite a bit. So now that you mentioned the Chicago Dogs. Hey, what motivated you to go and play with the Chicago Dogs for a little bit of time?
Well, I wanted to make a comeback. I wanted to make a comeback and see if I can still have something in the tank. But I wasn't throwing that hard. I threw 91, 92, and I was expecting, after the resting that I had, I was expecting 96, 97. I hit some 97, but not constantly. So that was the risk, and because that was in Chicago, the city that I knew. So I say yes to them.
Yeah. One more thing I wanted to talk to you about real quick is, we hear a lot of crazy stories about Greg Maddux and his time in the leagues and all the crazy things that he did. Yeah, I see it. Do you have any crazy Greg Maddux stories?
Whatever happened in Vegas, it stays in Vegas.
Okay.
I love it.
Awesome. All right.
The only thing that I can say, he was very unique. Maddox was very unique, and he used to do what he called fart game. Fart contest.
Oh my God.
Before every game, he used to do the pitching chart.
Okay.
So he don't go out, he stay inside, watching the game through TV in the couch. And he used to write, everything. And he every time he fart, he put one. And if somebody passed by him and threw a fart, he put you in the in the scoring card. So anybody that fart, he has a record
write
your name in the competition.
He has a record of farts. That's awesome.
And he says, whoever poop his pants automatically wins. So guess what? I did it once.
No!
Oh, man. Oh, that's amazing. That is absolutely amazing.
I had to go shower, man, after that.
Oh, that's amazing. That is a fantastic story. Oh, my gosh. All right, man. Before we let you go, tell us what you've been up to these days, and how can our fans follow you on social media?
I'm in business, real estate, and other business. I have in Venezuela I have academy, young kids that I'm raising with nothing. I gave them glove, I gave them food, and I trained them to sign with a big league team, and also I am pastoring a church in Venezuela. So that's what I'm doing right now.
That's amazing.
Yep.
All right, man. Let me tell you, it's been such a pleasure as a Cubs fan. Again, you kind of came into the league right when I was really becoming a baseball fan, because I was all about Jordan and the Bulls and watching still hangover from the '85 Bears. So for me personally, as a Cubs fan, to watch you grow up in your career, we're the same age, so we were just kind of following along with you, and it's been an absolute pleasure for me to talk to you and have some time and talk about what you did with the Cubs, and it's been a lot of fun for us.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for having me here. And anytime I can speak to media and to the fans and to the Chicago area, for me, it's a privilege. Believe me. That's why anytime they can contact me and want to do a podcast or whatever, if they know my number, I'm available. I don't want to say my number.
No, don't say your number.
You can follow me to Carlos Zambrano 38 at hermail.com and Instagram. I don't have Twitter.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much for being here. It was great to talk to you, and we hope to talk to you again soon.
Thank you, Carlos. Gracias, Amparo.
Thank you, guys.
Nos vemos, man.
Yeah. Thank you. All right. Bye.
Bye.
What an amazing conversation with Zambrano. That was so great. I mean, that it was so much fun, and that story at the end, that's the cake, that's the cherry on top. That was amazing. All right, y'all. Go ahead.
No, man. Before you kick it off back to and I know we're going to the next segment. You owe me some drinks because I got one of your favorite Cubs to come on one of our shows. And he's also Big C.
Hold on. Ozzie Jr., Chuck Garfien, Cat Garcia. How many White Sox guests?
Your boy. Your boy was a White Sox fan too.
I had one Cubs fan. I didn't have any big name.
No, your other boy. Fuck, I can't remember his name.
No, we fucked this whole thing up.
It's all right. It's all right. What's his name? Your fucking dude that you brought over. He was on shows all the whole time. He was a fucking Sox fan.
He wasn't a reporter. He had nothing to do with the Cubs. He was just a fan. That's what I'm saying. You had all these guys who are part of the White Sox. I finally got a Cubs guy. You want to get drinks out of me? Get out of here.
Hey, I pulled 2 favors on that shit.
Okay. Hey, I'm happy. I ain't mad about it. But
I'm not fine. It's just good radio. This is good radio.
This is it right here.
Yeah, it's totally going because I waste.
All right, y'all. We'll be right back with Stirring the Pot after a word from our sponsors. We all know that 2020 was no joke, and with an ever-changing world climate, many people are looking for a new opportunity. Guys, are you looking for a career that rewards effort and makes you feel valued as a team member? Let me tell you a little about our friends at ACSI. ACSI is a certified RCN business agent. They provide the same RCN services with a personalized touch. Their sales and technician teams work hand in hand, ensuring your experience will be smooth and pleasant. Gone are the days of being transferred from one person to the next. At ACSI, they handle everything from start to finish. It's never been so easy to get internet service. ACSI is a growing Chicagoland company that encourages personal growth and rewards perseverance. As they expand, they're looking for passionate, responsible, and honest professionals to join their team. A career with ACSI means you'll be part of a hardworking, flexible, and dynamic team that is a leader in the installation of cable and internet services in the Chicagoland area. Best of all, ACSI was awarded Hacia's 2020 Contractor of the Year Award. Are you ready to grow with a local Chicago company on the rise? Check out acsi.tech and click on careers to get started. That's acsi.tech and click on careers.
Welcome back to the True Chicago Sports Fan Podcast with E-Rock and Big Z.
Yeah!
It's like you broke through the wall. Yo, it's that time again, brother. You know what time it is. Oh, my God.
Oh, boy.
It's time for Stirring the Pot. All right, bro. I just had some amazing food. It was yesterday or day before yesterday, whatever it was. So I want to pose this question. And I'm actually really inquisitive to know if you even had this before. But here it is. Tapas, which is a Spanish way of having meals, very small, bunch of small meals. Tapas, is it a yay or nay?
So my wife and I last night, we went out for a date night for the first time in forever. Because these children's always over here at our shit. So we went out to a place in Elmhurst, and it was a very similar thing. Tapas with the small plates where you share the food and all that stuff. So yeah, I'm with it, man, because you can share and you can kind of do your thing there and get a bunch of different things. I mean, realistically, look, we're big boys, so even when we order regular plates, we're just ordering 6 different plates and just sharing with each other anyway, so it don't matter. So it's just a smaller version. So on the fact that like I need more food, then then no. But I would say in general, I'm with it. I'm with it, man.
I'm right. Yes. Yeah.
Well, you didn't even tell me if you liked it or not. How is this right? You're just asking me if I like it or not.
Because obviously I like it.
Right?
I like it.
It doesn't make you right.
It does. That's okay. I got the sound clip to prove it.
You are absolutely correct on that. You tried. You over here. I didn't say you're right. You know what it is
I can always put it in post. It's fine.
I can put it whatever you can.
I can put it in post.
Oh, look at this shit. Oh man.
That's the fun thing about a roadcaster now. All right.
All right. Before we go, what you looking at? What have you been watching that isn't sports?
All right, what I've been watching wasn't sports. I caught up on my Chicago shows that you hate. Put those to the side. We're not going to talk about those. But the big premiere this week that I've been waiting about 1.5 years for is the Saints of Newark. This is the Sopranos movie. It's a prequel. It talks about the 60s and 70s where the Soprano family is coming through, and you have
isn't it Jackie's dad? Jackie Monte's dad.
It's Monte's son. So it's what's his name? What
Sopranos?
Is it? No.
Yeah, Tony Soprano's son.
Yeah, Tony Soprano's son is actually playing him in the movie, but you also have Christopher's story, which is so his dad that's a major story, and then you see like the old timers being young and them coming up through the system of organized crime and all that stuff. So it is a great movie to watch, and then once you finish watching the movie, it's going to make you watch the series all over, because now you have new information from the 60s and 70s that is going to take you through the 90s, and it makes a lot more sense of what's happening in the show. What are you watching?
Okay. I didn't watch Saints of Newark yet. That's on the list because I know my wife's going to watch it with me, and she'll probably kill me if I do not watch it with her. But number one, the show that I've been watching is on Netflix, Chicago Party Aunt. This is amazing. This is about a lady, probably I want to say in her 40s to 50s, and she lives in Chicago in Wrigleyville, actually right across the street from Wrigley. There's a lot of really cool references. I got a little clip here I want to play for you.
Yeah, hi. Where's your alkaline water?
By the chia seeds. If you hit the celery milk, you've gone too far. You know what I drink, sweetie? Hose water. Straight from Lake Michigan.
Lake Michigan has extremely high levels of E. coli.
Don't be afraid of a little diarrhea, honey. Keeps you slim.
That is our childhood right there. That is our childhood.
Let me tell you something. You do not need to be a Cubs fan to appreciate this show as a whole. I mean, there's a whole episode about tailgating and their alliances with different tailgaters and who has the best tailgate and who has the best chili, and the accent is completely on point. I mean, it's a lot of fun, and it's of course a little bit of satire with the way that Chicago fans are, but it's pretty on point too. So definitely go check that out, especially our Cubs fans. But the other thing, SNL is back, baby. Last night, the first.
Was it good?
The first season premiere. Yeah, man. Owen Wilson was up there. It's always good. Look, SNL is always a good time for me. You know, it doesn't matter if it's good or bad. It's like pizza. I'm going to eat it anyway. So, I mean, like, yeah, I'm excited. It's a very interesting lineup of hosts coming up. I want to say next week is going to be Kim Kardashian, which is... yeah, that's a little odd. A lot of SNL fans got their panties in a bunch or lack of panties in a bunch.
There you go.
Because on the show, they're like, what does she have to do with anything? I was like, well, I mean, if it's going to be anything like a lot of the other controversial guests, it's possible that she's going to make a lot of fun of herself, which I hope she
parody,
does. That's part of the fun. But yeah, I mean, that's what I'll be looking out for, and I'll definitely give you guys a review.
I bet.
Of what happened in the show.
I bet you putting close attention to that episode.
I mean, I got the internet; I can see it anytime. All right, y'all.
Man.
That is it for today. Thank you so much for listening. A big thank you to our sponsors, 606 Media, True Chicago Sports Fans, ACSI, and Grit Clothing Company. Don't forget to go to gritclothingco.com and get your official TCSF Podcast t-shirt. Search for keyword True Chicago and use our promo code TrueFan15 at checkout for 15% off of your entire order. That's TrueFan15. Go and get your shirts right now. And don't forget to visit our new friends over at ACSI.Tech. Check out their career section to start an exciting new career in the communications industry. Go to ACSI.Tech. That's ACSI.Tech and click on careers to apply today. A huge shout out to our guest today, former Cubs pitcher Carlos Zambrano. That was such a great time and awesome. Great stories about his time with the Cubs. Do not miss that. Shout out to our friends at the Some of This and Some of That podcast. Their new episodes are available now on Apple Podcasts. And don't forget to check out the Shy Native Radio podcast, now available on all major platforms. Mike Logic, Ideal, Throw MC, and Words talk about sports, movies, and all types of ill shit. Go and check them out right now. Shout out to Ronesh, Panic, and our brand new beats from the homie Serious Beats for the beats we played on today's show. Check out paniconthebeat.com for all your Momen merch and gear. And make sure you check out Serious Beats website. It's PROD by Serious.com. PROD by Serious.com to check out all of Serious Beats music. Check us out on social media. You can find us at True Shy Fans on Twitter. That's at True CHI Fans on Twitter and on TikTok. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Spotify. And don't forget to hit the DMs with your Stirring the Pot ideas, your movie recommendations, and just tell us what you think about the show. You can also reach us at TrueChicagoSportsFans@gmail.com. All right, y'all. For Big Z, this is E-Rock. We'll see you next week for episode 66.
Route 66.
Until then, be good to each other.
For the love of sports.
This is not how we wanted it to go. You almost can't even make it up. It's that bad.
What? Did we just become best friends? Yep.
You are absolutely correct on that.
Usually you pay double for that kind of action, Cotton.
Would that make you love me?
What the fuck is wrong with me today?
A few moments later.
You have a lot of incest.
That's real.
Shut your mouth.
Lover boy.
Nature versus nurture, Lodge. Nature always wins.
I think he's on steroids.
I
Hasta luego, amigos.
That's all. I shouldn't have had those artichoke poppers.